Give me a beat. Today's the day we end the constipation. This is a video on constipation. Now, I don't really love talking about poo, to be honest, but I'm going to tell you some things that you need to know, and these might really help you. Let's get going. G'day, I'm Anna Cheney. I live in Sydney, Australia. I used to be a nurse. I'm also a yoga teacher. I'm also an actor. I'm here because I love to inspire people to live the best life that they possibly can. Make sure you watch to the end because that's when I'll give you the tips. Firstly, I'm going to give you some extremely important education about your digestive system. Firstly, don't blame yourself. It's probably not your fault that you have constipation, so just lift the blame off yourself. It could well be the body that you were given. Thanks, Mum and Dad. Obviously, there's choices that you can make in your lifestyle. You probably have already started to look at that though, because that's why you're looking at this video. So maybe just take the pressure off yourself. There's only so much you can do with the body that you've been given. Women are more prone to constipation. Lucky us. This is due to a few reasons. Pregnancy, one. We often don't have enough time to relax, and we often don't have enough time to sit on the toilet and allow that sphincter muscle to properly open up. I know, detail, sorry about that. And we also tend to not actually drink enough fluids during the day. So that's just a reminder to you ladies out there to drink more fluids during the day. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about today is the large intestine. Now, the large intestine is actually quite a remarkable organ. It does a whole lot of different things. One of them is it is the main housing space for your bacteria. So you've got this wonderful storage of healthy bacteria in your gut that helps to break down food, undigested food. When the fluid or food comes through from the small intestine, it has to slow down quite significantly when it gets to the large intestine. This is for a few reasons. Your brain is quite picky about toilet times, and it needs to be for obvious reasons. The other thing is if your food or fluid that's coming in from your stomach and your small intestine, if that is not quite digested properly, if you haven't chewed your food properly, the large intestine needs to do the breakdown and do some more digesting with the bacteria that's in there. And it's also an opportunity for your body to reabsorb fluid. And now for a word on fibre. You know, you've probably heard from so many people, and I definitely have. And yes, that fibre is extremely important. However, if you have got IBS or you've got some other digestive troubles, you need to find out which is the right fibre for you. Because some people will find that certain fibres actually make their constipation worse. Now, some of you would know that fibre is not digestible. So you eat fibre, which is like, for example, if you eat a pear, and you know when you look at pears and you see that fibrous kind of, it's like the pulp that you get if you juiced an apple or an orange, and that's all the fibre. And you can't digest that, but what it does is it helps to really move the bulk through your digestive system. It's kind of like, I remember when we were kids and we used to put a huge piece of plastic on the hill, then we'd put the sprinklers on and we'd slide down the plastic. And if we put detergent on the top with the water, we'd slide down so much quicker and so much better, it'd be easier. So fibre kind of does a similar thing for all the rest of the food that you're eating. It helps you to whoosh. Just for a little word on laxatives. A lot of people think that because something says herbal or natural, that it's okay to use all the time. Do not be fooled by this. You often get what we call rebound worsening, which is kind of like your bowel getting a little bit lazy because it gets used to the chemicals doing the stimulation, not doing it itself. So it's kind of like if you do the dishes for your partner all the time, maybe they'll just think, oh, I don't need to worry about the dishes because they just happen miraculously. So be careful with the chemical stimulants. They can make your bowel less responsive, which will cause more problems in the future. There is another way, and I'm going to get to that. Okay, here are some things you might like to consider avoiding or reducing. Some people say that caffeine helps them to go to the toilet if they're constipated. However, If you drink caffeine all the time, every day, and quite a lot of it, it will do the absolute opposite, for a similar reason to what I was explaining about the laxatives. Your body gets used to it, and then you require more for the same response. Caffeine is also what we call a diuretic, so it makes you pee more, which means that your body will be more dehydrated and it will want to take more fluid out of the mass that's already in your large intestine, creating harder matter for you to try to pass. So try to avoid large amounts of caffeine. 2 other things to avoid: garlic and onion. They can really make it worse for a lot of people, especially if you have IBS. And the other thing to avoid is just a physical action where some people sit on the toilet. Once again, sorry about the graphics, but you know, we're talking about poo. So some people sit on the toilet and they pull their butt cheeks apart. Don't do that. You will cause all sorts of extra problems. The things that make people more prone to constipation are if you have had surgery recently, especially if it's in your abdominal region. Also, if you are on heavy pain medication, because that can really slow down the effect of your bowels. You might have been in an accident that has damaged an area of your abdominal organs, or perhaps you have had some other disease in that area and that slowed things down. Also, if you are a survivor of sexual abuse, like I am, you might find that that has caused a psychological change for you to be able to properly relax and let go because of, see, I'm finding it hard to talk about it as well. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's difficult. So if you have had a history of sexual abuse, I would really encourage you to talk to someone about it. And you don't need to go into the details of what happened in your experience. Whew, whew. Okay, time for some tips. Tip 1, and this is so helpful. Get a little box or something that you can put your feet on when you're sitting on the toilet. What this does is raises your knees up above the level of your hips, and it changes the way that your muscles work in your abdomen to release your sphincter muscle. So give this a go. It is likely to make a world of difference the next time you go to the toilet. Another thing is distract yourself. So go to the toilet with a book or a podcast or something and try not to think about, I need to go to the toilet. Look into a product called magnesium or Epsom salts. And you can get these in little capsules. They're known as a non-habit forming laxative, and they work really, really well by drawing extra fluid into your bowel. There's also a root called GLUCOMANNAN, which is known as the broom of the intestines, and that can help to relieve constipation as well. You might not know about that one. Some of you would be familiar with the FODMAP journey, so discovering the types of sugars that react badly with your gut. And it can be quite a long process and not very easy to follow. So I would suggest just starting off with 1 or 2 things that are listed on the FODMAP guide, which you can get on the internet anywhere, and just start cutting them out. Specifically, I would say try cutting out dairy, onion, and garlic. I know that sounds like a really big deal, and it sounds like a very nasty thing for me to suggest, but I promise you will be okay without onion and garlic and without dairy. It might just make your world a whole lot sunnier. The last thing I would suggest is breathing. Breathing techniques, meditation, yoga, anything that involves you training your body to breathe in a more relaxed way. There's so much information on breathing. Just try it, see what happens. Try to slow down your breathing the next time you're on the toilet, see what happens. Please join me on my journey as I reach 1 million subscribers. Thank you for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.